City Commission meeting to order. Before I ask for an approval of the agenda, I have one amendment. We're going to push item 14, given the amount of quasi-judicials, once again, we have in front of us. So we'll bring that back to a later date. That's the only amendment that I have. So with that, if no one else has any changes, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, a second from Commissioner Mazon. Any comments, questions, motion on the floor from the dais? Does the public have any comments, questions on the motion on the floor? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed unanimously. I'd like to invite Pastor Armin Lowry down to the podium to give a nice invocation. If you would please stand for the invocation, remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. And just because I believe this is the first time Pastor Lowry has given the invocation since he became Newberry's project manager, that is going to push forward all these projects that we have had. You got a lot of eyes on you, sir. Got a lot of eyes on you. Got a lot of hope. That's a good thing you're about to pray.
That's right.
Go ahead, Pastor. Thank you, Pastor Lowry from Fresh Wind at Mount Zura Church. And Pastor Lowry, I'm just kidding. We give you a good 6 to 8 weeks to get that 15th Avenue punched through to 337. All right? I'm sure you got it covered.
On my project list.
All right. Presentations, we have two. First up is the Great American Cleanup Day Proclamation. Jamie, do you want me to read the proclamation first and then you present?
Whatever it is.
Well, I'm about to sip my coffee, so why don't you present and then I'll read it.
Well, this is the annual event that we schedule in the spring for the city of Newberry to encourage our citizens to clean up and facilitate that process. We're requesting that the mayor proclaim tonight that March 18th, 2022 as Great American Cleanup Day in the city of Newberry. We're doing the same activities that we normally do. You have litter and tire roundup, which is Friday, March 18th.
Go slow through these dates because people are going to text me. So tires are March 8th. We can advance the slide. There we go. There on the slide. You can watch it at home.
On the 18th and 19th, basically from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., that'll be your litter and tire roundup at the city public works facility. We will also have the county household hazardous waste trailer at our facility Saturday the 19th from 8 to 2. And we ask that citizens put any of their yard debris out for yard debris amnesty by at the latest Sunday evening, and we'll start picking that up Monday morning. A few general housekeeping items on that. Just as a reminder for the citizens, this is residential activities only, not commercial or industrial businesses. Up to 6 tires per customer. The tires have to be off the rim. We can't dispose of them if they're on the rim.
How many tires?
Up to 6 tires per customer. That's at the Public Works facility. We have a flyer that we can email or give citizens that lists the type items they can bring to the household hazardous waste trailer. And those items are such as pesticides, paint thinners, radiator fluid, some electronics, battery, used fuel, the normal things that you would take into household hazardous waste at Levita Brown. And we will start picking up the yard debris, as I said, on Monday, the 21st. Another item on that, if you put bagged leaves out, they cannot be in plastic bags. They have to be in the paper recycling bags, or else we have to basically empty every single bag we collect and remove the plastic. So we request that citizens put them in the paper bags. So, want to read the proclamation, or if anybody has any questions?
Does anybody have any questions?
Tractor tire, yes, tractor tire.
What about tractor tires? The great, big, gigantic
If it's a tractor
tires.
tire that a residential property would have, naturally, if you show up with a 30.5 skidder tire, the average resident does not have those. So, you know, if you
This
had
is
a
Newberry.
small lawn and garden tractor or utility tractor tire from a residential property, that would most likely be permissible.
Jamie, is our city's social media page going to put up a nice flyer that kind of explains all these dates that the commissioners can share, and that way we're keeping the same message going out?
Yes, we'll make sure that there's public notifications.
All right. Commissioner Mazon.
Washers, dryers, yeah.
Your washers and dryers and things like that are included in the citizens' household or the municipal solid waste pickup. Basically, they schedule that with us, and we ensure the Waste Pro picks those up from your house, and there's no charge for that. We just have to schedule. There's a special truck that goes around and segregates those type materials. You get free bulky waste pickup, white goods pickup, which is your washers, dryers, refrigerators, those type things. If you do schedule white goods pickup, though, and it is a freezer or a refrigerator, we ask that that be taped shut for safety reasons with children. They like to climb in them, then they can't get out.
And empty.
Hmm?
And empty.
Preferably.
Frozen.
Are there any other questions for Jamie? With that, I'd be pleased to offer the following proclamation. Whereas the control of litter and litter prevention is vitally important to the quality of life in Newberry, Florida. And whereas the citizens, businesses, and the city of Newberry have an interest in encouraging every resident to protect and preserve the beauty and cleanliness of our community. Whereas the mission of Keep Newberry Beautiful is to improve the appearance of the community by inspiring and engaging the citizens of Newberry to take personal responsibility for the community environment. Whereas Keep America Beautiful is the nation's largest volunteer-based community action and education organization. And whereas Keep America Beautiful promotes programs that engage individuals to take greater responsibility for improving their community's environment through the three main focus areas of litter prevention, waste reduction, recycling, and beautification. Now, therefore, I, Jordan Martin, Mayor of the City of Newberry, do hereby declare Friday, March 18th, as a Great American Cleanup Day in the City of Newberry, and I urge all organizations, businesses, and citizens participating in this event to make Newberry a more beautiful place to live, work, and play. Dated this 15th of February, 2022. By myself and attested to by the clerk of the City Commission of the City of Newberry, Florida, Ms. Judy S. Rice, be it so proclaimed. That's going to take us to our second presentation. Mike, you're going to give us an update on the advanced metering infrastructure.
Yes.
Very, very exciting. Might even be mentioned in this year's State of the City address. I don't know.
Very exciting, Mr. Mayor. I'll try to be brief, but I can't speak. I listened to you read that proclamation and thought he's out of my league. So, but we'll just go through briefly, just for the commission's remembrances. In 2018, you guys told us to move forward with development and issuance of an RFP. We did. That resulted in a contract with Census USA last February. Was supposed to go 120 days, and which would have put us through sometime mid last year, and that hasn't happened primarily because microchips are hard to come by, and the equipment that we need.
Are they sitting in a semi-truck on Canada?
I don't know where the microchips are. I would tell you that part of this, we've delivered most of the meters. There's still other equipment that's not been delivered. But so our current projected end date is October 31st, Halloween. But we have the system. It's actually operational now with just a few meters working on city accounts. Remember, it's a two-part contract. The first part feels like a construction project. You install the system, make it operational. Original estimate's about $1.2 million. Every month that goes by and we add that 20 or 30 meters a month, it's going to go up because it costs a little bit more for those meters. But other than that, we're not seeing any cost overruns. It's just the additional meters. And then we transition after we get the system functional, operational, then we transition into a 10-year services program, the annual cost ranging between $65,000 and $85,000. It just steps up a little bit each year. After that, we can continue the contract, and we would expect to see a price reduction unless we need more capital infusion, say equipment becomes obsolete, and then we just renegotiate the contract. And this is, Amy, if you'd advance me, please. So just, this is what we've completed to date. A project test board, critical component of the whole thing is get this test board. We can roll this into City Hall. It's currently sitting in the yard. Those meters are actively working, and we're actively monitoring them on our system. We can turn them on, turn them off. We'll use that as a training tool. So that'll be with us for a long time. Electric meters on the right, water meters on the left. We began preparing educational materials for AMI Day, and we've received the bulk of our water and electric meters. Advance me, please. Sorry. Upcoming tasks, you see some installation photographs on the right. Those are at the schools where we've changed out their meters, and we're monitoring the schools, and we can issue bills from the meter readings that are coming from here. But the next test, we can complete the functional acceptance test. That's the primary test that makes sure this thing's working. There's 250 items that they have to check off to demonstrate that it can do, and we're mostly through with that. Once we see where the end date on that is, we're going to do this AMI Day where we roll out the program to the community, commission presentation. Once we're satisfied that everything's working right, then we'll go into full-scale deployment of meters. Advance, please. This is just a glimpse of some of the marketing informational materials that's being developed. Dallas and his team are working on that. It's really, really good looking stuff, and there's probably 8 or 10 different products for social media, door hangers, flyers, every way that we can think of to communicate with people. We're developing this type of information. Next slide, please. And project schedule. We're not going to dive into that, but just to, even though we're running way behind, we have a real schedule, and we talk about it every week. And we're doing our best to keep their feet to the fire to make sure that we complete this thing during our career, during my career and Jamie's career. Next slide, please, and I think that takes us to questions. Are there any questions?
Questions from the commission?
Mr. Mayor, I'd also point out that at least 2 other cities are piggybacking our contract. This is considered...
Do you know which 2?
City of Clewiston and... Who's the other one, Jamie? Bushnell. They're moving forward. Actually, I thought there was a third city, New Smyrna. So it's a really well put together RFP, and FMPA is working with other cities. From our perspective, the more cities, the more meters that use this system in the state of Florida, the better our leveraging power, the easier it is to ask the developer of the software to do things at no cost, because it doesn't benefit our 2,000 customers only. It benefits 100,000 customers in the state of Florida. So,
all right. Exciting stuff.
it is. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thank you, sir. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to public announcements. Your commission likes to hear directly from you, so they set aside a time at the beginning of the meeting so you don't have to wait all the way to the end. These are the 2-minute non-controversial announcements. If you need a little bit more time, we set aside another time for public comment where you get 5 minutes. If you need a little bit more time, I'd ask you to wait till the end of the meeting. But if you have garage sales, those kinds of things, now would be a great time to do that. I'm going to ask our clerk if she would, early in the meeting where we have more people zooming in and watching on YouTube and those kinds of things, if you would give us an update on the election and a reminder of that timeline and how people can go about doing it, we would appreciate it. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Mayor. This is a reminder that we do have a Newberry municipal election scheduled for Tuesday, April the 12th at the municipal building, which is precinct 6. All voters will vote at precinct 6 for the municipal election. We have 3 seats that are up for the election, and that is Group 1, Group 2, and Group 3. Thank you. This week we have been pre-qualifying, which by Florida statute we can hold papers up for a certain period before the qualifying date. So the qualifying period actually begins at noon on Monday, February the 21st, and ends on Thursday, February the 24th at noon. It is by appointment only, so I invite all citizens that would like to run for office to contact the city clerk's office. The number is 352-472-2446. If you have any questions, if we can assist in any way, please contact our office. We will assist you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate that. Any other public announcements? Seeing none, we'll move on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as it was published? Have a motion from Commissioner Clark, a second from Commissioner Martin. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That takes us into public hearing and ordinances. Our first, item 7 on tonight's agenda is a quasi-judicial. Ladies and gentlemen, when this board enters into a quasi-judicial, they cease being a legislative body. They start being a judicial body, which means that they have to behave and act according to a certain set of rules. In a second, I'm going to ask the attorney to read the ordinance into the record for us. Before I do that, I want to explain the primary rule is a rule concerning testimony, and that's the substantial and competent evidence must be met when the board makes a decision, and it shall state the following, and I quote, all public testimony will be taken under oath. Everyone testifying will be subject to cross-examination. All documents shall be entered into evidence. The giving opinion testimony is limited to the experts, and closing arguments are limited to the evidence of record. Madam Attorney, would you go ahead and read the ordinance, and then I'll ask the clerk to swear everybody in. Or I can switch that if you need. You ready?
You should.
Switch that. Madam Clerk, would you please swear everybody in? If you're here to speak to any quasi-judicial tonight, I'd ask you to go ahead and stand up, and we're going to swear you in at one time for everything. So Brian's already standing. That's good. Go ahead, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Please raise your right hand, starting at my left. State your name for the record.
Elena Jackson.
Brian Thomas.
Do you hereby swear or affirm the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You have been.
Okay, let's go ahead and do ex parte, and then we'll come back to the attorney. Commissioner Maison, do you have anything that you need to report on any quasi-judicial tonight?
None.
Commissioner Farnsworth?
None.
Commissioner Martin?
No, sir.
Commissioner Clark?
No.
Commissioner Coleman?
None.
I don't either, but again, I am a non-voting mayor. Madam Attorney?
There are 3 ordinances subject to the first item on our agenda. The first is ordinance number 2022-01, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, annexing certain portions of unincorporated Alachua County that includes parcels number 04273-002-000, 04273-002-001, and 04273-002-002 as more specifically described in this ordinance as petitioned for by the property owners pursuant to section 171.044 Florida statutes, making certain findings, providing for land use, zoning, and land development regulations, and enforcement of the same, providing directions to the clerk of the commission, providing a severability clause, and providing an immediate effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to read the presentation order. We're going to follow this presentation order for every quasi-judicial tonight, but as long as no one new enters the room, I'm not going to read this presentation order again or the quasi-judicial procedures. And again, I'd ask staff to help me make sure I don't miss anybody as they come in. First, we're going to hear from staff overview. Then we'll hear from the applicant if the applicant is present with no time limit. Then we'll hear from the staff. Also with no time limit, along with their recommendation. We'll have public comment on each ordinance and agenda item. Anyone wishing to speak to that agenda item will be given 3 minutes to do so. I've not been contacted by anybody wishing to claim a third-party intervener status for any of the quasi-judicials tonight, so that's going to move us to cross-examinations. Then members of the decision-making body, through the chair, can ask questions of the staff, the applicant, and the participants, and we'll hear final arguments. The city attorney will advise the decision-making body just one time tonight as to the applicable law and the factual findings that must be made to approve or deny the applications. Then we'll have deliberations. After deliberations, we'll have a vote. With that, staff, please give us the overview, and if the applicant's not present, slide right into that report and recommendation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. To my knowledge, there are none of the applicants present. As you can see on the map, these are the 3 annexation areas. A couple of the parcels are clustered together, so you only have 3 areas, and that's why you only have 3 ordinances. These are the second readings. They were approved at the last commission meeting. Ordinance 2022-01 is on the north side of Newberry Road, and it's the parcels that are kind of between Dudley Farms and unincorporated neighborhood. This is part of an area that we've been working on trying to fill in enclaves, and so this helps to fill in some existing enclaves in that area. The second parcel is the McKnight parcel. Again, it's part of an existing enclave, and so ultimately helps us over time fill in more enclaves. And then we've got two parcels together over here on the west side of the city at the county line, and again, part of an enclave that exists on the western border of the city. Basically, these are 4 separate requests to annex 6 parcels on the 3 different areas as read by ordinance titles. The information was transmitted to the county for their review prior to initiating the annexation process, to which we received a response that they had no issues with the proposed annexations. And with that, staff finds no reason to object to these applications.
Thank you, sir. Would anybody from the public wish to comment on this ordinance, 2022-01? Seeing none, that will move us to cross-examinations. I'm assuming we have none, and we have no final arguments. Members, decision-making body, do you have any questions for staff on second reading? Anybody watching at home? I realize I'm going a little fast, but this is second reading, and it's a rather mundane item, so I'm just trying to move us along. Anybody have any questions on second reading? None? Okay. Then, Madam Attorney, would you please advise decision-making bodies of applicable law?
Competent and substantial evidence must be found in this case.
Perfect. Perfect. Deliberations. If there are no deliberations, I'll entertain a motion to approve. I have a motion from Commissioner Maison, a second from Commissioner Coleman. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Any comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. Madam Attorney, would you please read the second ordinance in this agenda item?
This is ordinance number 2022-02, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, annexing certain portions of unincorporated Alachua County that includes parcel number 01840-002-001, as more specifically described in this ordinance as petitioned for by the property owners pursuant to Section 171.004 Florida statutes, making certain findings, providing for land use, zoning, and land development regulations and enforcement of the same, providing directions to the clerk of the commission, providing a severability clause, and providing an immediate effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Same report
Yes, Mr. Mayor, actually,
and same recommendation?
covered all.
All 3, okay? I'm going to move down. We've already had our advice and final arguments. Deliberations are a motion to approve. I have a motion to approve from Commissioner Farnsworth, a second from Commissioner Coleman. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Public comments, questions on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed unanimously. Madam Attorney, would you please read the third ordinance in this agenda item?
This is ordinance number 2022-03, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, annexing certain portions of unincorporated Alachua County that includes parcel number 002-597-000-000 and 02597-001-000, as more specifically described in this ordinance as petitioned for by the property owners pursuant to Section 171.004 Florida statutes, making certain findings, providing for land use, zoning, and land development regulations and enforcement of the same, providing directions to the clerk of the commission, providing a severability clause, and providing an immediate effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. We've heard our presentation. We've had our advice. Do I hear a motion to approve unless there's a deliberation? I have a motion from Commissioner Maison, a second from Commissioner Martin. Any comments, questions, for motion on the floor of the dais? Hearing none, public comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passed unanimously. We're going to put quasi-judicial aside for a second. We're not out of quasi-judicial, but we're going to go to a future land use classification. I think Ms. Jackson is going to lead us through that. Ms. Jackson, take it away.
Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. I wasn't paying attention. All right, so the first one I have tonight is a change in the future land use map from County Ag to City of Newberry Ag. These parcels are along Southwest 30th Avenue and Southwest 186th Street. They were annexed November 13th, 2017. They went to the Planning and Zoning Board January 3rd of 2022, and they voted unanimously to recommend to the Commission approval of the ordinance. On January 24th, the City Commission voted 3-0 to approve the ordinance on its first reading, and staff recommends approval of the ordinance and enactment on second reading.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any questions for Ms. Jackson? There are no questions. Do I have a motion? I have a motion from Commissioner Clark. Second from Commissioner Martin.
Before we take
I'm sorry.
a vote.
Let's read the ordinance into the record, please.
This is
I
ordinance.
knew that was going too fast.
This is ordinance number 2022-05, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending ordinance number 4-91 as amended, relating to an amendment to the future land use plan map of the City of Newberry comprehensive plan of 50 or fewer acres of land under the small-scale development amendment procedures established under the small-scale amendment provisions of Section 163.3187, Florida statutes as amended, providing for a change in land use classification from Alachua County rural agriculture less than or equal to 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres to City of Newberry agriculture less than or equal to 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, parcel number 04443-000-000 and 04443-001-000, consisting of approximately 38.2 contiguous acres, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Is that your motion, Commissioner Clark? Is that your second, your second, Commissioner Martin? Thank you. Okay, now any comments, questions, motion on the floor? Hearing none. Any public comments, questions, motion on the floor? All those in favor? Aye. That's an aye, and that motion was seconded by Commissioner Martin. We're still in legislative. Madam Attorney, will you go ahead and start by reading the ordinance 2022-06 for us?
Yes, this is ordinance number 2022-06, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending ordinance number 4-91 as amended, relating to an amendment to the future land use plan map of the City of Newberry comprehensive plan of 50 or fewer acres of land under the small-scale development amendment procedures established under the small-scale amendment provisions of Section 163.3187, Florida statutes as amended, providing for a change in land use classification from Alachua County rural agriculture less than or equal to 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres to City of Newberry agriculture less than or equal to 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, parcel number 02587-001-005 and 02587-001-007, consisting of approximately 7.38 contiguous acres, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. Ms. Jackson, go ahead.
Okay, so these two parcels are on the west side of the city. They are right up against the county line at Southwest 298th Street and south of Southwest 30th Avenue. They were also part of the November 13th, 2017 annexations and went before Planning and Zoning January 3rd, who voted unanimously 5-0 to recommend to the City Commission approval, and January 24th, the City Commission approved on first reading. Staff's recommendation is approval of the ordinance on second reading.
Thank you, ma'am. Does anybody have any questions for staff? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
Move to approve.
I have a motion from Commissioner Clark, a second from Commissioner Maison. Any comments, questions, motion on the floor from the dais? Any public comments, questions, motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimous. We're going to stay in legislative. Ms. Jackson, stay at the podium. Madam Attorney, would you please read ordinance 2022-08 on second reading into the record for us?
Mr. Mayor, I regret to inform you that I do not have a copy of the name of this ordinance
Can we
in front of me
get,
right now.
can we get the attorney a copy of that? And let's have our presentation while we're working on that.
Okay. So this is a single parcel that is south of West Newberry Road and west of Southwest 170th Street. It is also county ag to city ag and was again part of the 2017 annexations that we're cleaning up. There it is. Again, went before Planning and Zoning January 3rd of this year, and the first reading before the City Commission was January 24th this year. Staff's recommendation is approval of the ordinance on second reading. That should be second reading for our recommendation. Oh,
Yeah. Is this the last of the ones
Yes.
that were in 2017?
yes.
Okay.
Well, some of them we sent to DEO, so they will be on the next. The large-scale amendments, we did get back from DEO, but not in time for this meeting. So those will be, and there's 2 series of those.
Okay. All right. You're fine. We're
Do you
just
want
gonna
the
pause
map?
for 1 second while we get that title only. Are you looking ahead, Madam Attorney? Is there any other ones that we need to get for you? Are you good for the rest of the agenda?
I have all the rest of them for the agenda.
All right. Anybody heard any good jokes lately?
I can't tell them on dice.
Well, I'll just take this as a reminder. The state of the city was announced today on social media, March 3rd. Taste of Newberry starts at 6:30. State of the city starts at 7. On March 8th, we're going to be honoring our very first and only female mayor in the city of Newberry on International Women's Day. Both of those events will take place in the municipal building. March 8th is 7 o'clock. Don't want to miss that Taste of Newberry. All free for the public. Coming out and have a great time. Madam Attorney?
This is ordinance number 2022-08, an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, amending ordinance number 4-91 as amended relating to an amendment to the future land use plan map of the City of Newberry Comprehensive Plan of 50 or fewer acres of land under the small-scale development amendment procedures established under the small-scale amendment provisions of Section 163.3187 Florida statutes as amended, providing for a change in land use classification from Alachua County Rural Agriculture less than or equal to 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres to City of Newberry Agriculture less than or equal to 1 dwelling unit per 5 acres on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, parcel number 04370-002-000, consisting of approximately 4.27 contiguous acres, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. We've had our presentation. Do you have any questions for staff? Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Coleman, a second from Commissioner Mazon. Any comments, questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? Any comments, questions from the public? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. Now we're going to go back into quasi-judicial. We've already sworn in. We've already done ex parte. I've already read through the presentation order. We'll start by asking the attorney if you would read on second reading ordinance 2022-12/LDR 2139-39 into the record for us. Then we'll follow our quasi-judicial procedures.
This is an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to the amendment of the official zoning atlas for the rezoning of 38.2 acres, more or less, pursuant to an application by the City of Newberry, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Newberry land development regulations, providing for rezoning from Alachua County Agriculture A zoning district to City of Newberry Agriculture A zoning district on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, which have been annexed thereto, tax parcel number 04443-000-000 and 04443-001-000, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Jackson, please give us the staff report and recommendation.
Okay, so now we're on to the second half of the process, changing the zoning from Alachua County zoning to City of Newberry zoning. And all three of these will be ag to ag as well. Again, here's the location of the first two parcels on Southwest 30th Avenue. And same timeline, planning and zoning January 3rd, and the first reading January 24th. And staff's recommendation is approval and enactment of the ordinance on second reading.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any members of the public wishing to comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, that's going to move us down. I'm going to go through cross-examinations. Members, does anybody have any questions for staff? None? Okay, would you like to make a final argument? All right. Then we'll enter into deliberations. Our deliberations, I'll have a motion to approve.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Farnsworth. Any comments or questions on the motion on the floor from the dais? None. Any public comments on the motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. We're still in quasi-judicial. Madam Attorney, would you please read on second reading ordinance 2022-13/LDR 21-40?
This is an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to the amendment of the official zoning atlas for the rezoning of 7.38 acres, more or less, pursuant to an application by the City of Newberry, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Newberry land development regulations, providing for rezoning from Alachua County Agriculture A zoning district to City of Newberry Agriculture A zoning district on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, which have been annexed thereto, tax parcel number 02587-001-005 and 02587-001-007, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Attorney. And staff, go ahead and give us a report and recommendation.
Okay, these are the two parcels on the west side, Southwest 298th Street and Southwest 30th Avenue. And again, Planning and Zoning, January 3rd, voted to recommend, and the City Commission voted approval 3-0 on first reading, January 24th. Staff recommends approval on second reading.
Thank you, ma'am. Do you have any members of the public wishing to speak to this agenda item? Seeing none, we'll go all the way down to deliberations. Any deliberations? If there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. Have a motion from Commissioner Martin, second from Commissioner Clark. Any comments, questions, motion on the floor from the dais? Seeing none, public comments, questions, motion on the floor? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes unanimously. That's going to take us to our last quasi-judicial of the evening. Madam Attorney, would you please read again on second reading ordinance 2022-15/LDR 21-42 into the record?
This is an ordinance of the City of Newberry, Florida, relating to the amendment of the official zoning atlas for the rezoning of 4.27 acres, more or less pursuant to an application by the City of Newberry, amending the official zoning atlas of the City of Newberry Land Development Regulations, providing for rezoning from Alachua County Agriculture A zoning district to City of Newberry Agriculture A zoning district on certain lands within the corporate limits of the City of Newberry, Florida, which have been annexed thereto, tax parcel number 04370-002-000, providing severability, repealing all ordinances in conflict, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Go ahead and give us the staff report and recommendation.
Okay, and this final parcel is the one on West Newberry Road from Alachua County Ag to City of Newberry Ag. January 3rd and January 24th, both times again, same thing. It was voted on by you guys for approval, and then we recommend approval again.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. I'm going to go all the way down to deliberations. Do you have any deliberations? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved as well.
I have a motion from Commissioner Barden, a second from Commissioner Mazon. Any comments or questions on the dais? Any public comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passed unanimously. That takes us out of our quasi-judicials for the evening. Item 14 has been postponed. That takes us to comment city manager.
Mr. Mayor, with the exception of the announcements that I know you're about to make, I have no comments. I'm going to stun the crowd. No comments tonight.
What is today's date?
All right. Well, in the spirit of speeding things right along, the city manager's jumped on board. Madam Clerk, do you have any comments for tonight? All right. Thank you, ma'am. Madam Attorney?
I certainly will not ruin our streak.
Thank you. Let's start this way and go that way. Commissioner Coleman, you have any comments?
I have none.
Commissioner Clark?
Proud to be an American.
Pause and reflect on that. Commissioner Martin?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Friendly reminder that our varsity boys basketball team is actually in the regionals despite losing the district finals this past Friday night. They are in because of their regular season ranking being top of the division. So they're going to play Trenton for a fourth time Thursday night at 7 p.m. So I'm sure they would appreciate as much support as they can. I will actually be out of town, unfortunately. Also, they're playing Trenton at Trenton, and again that's at 7 o'clock. Tickets should be available at the door, and it's an FHSAA postseason tournament, so they handle all that stuff. The other thing that I wanted to mention is we've got a lot of trash on the roadways, on the shoulders, and it's just kind of working my nerves. I have done several trash cleanups over the past year, and now all I kind of see is this, and I want to kind of preface doing something for the Great American Cleanup where we, as a city, as a family, citywide, get our families, get our churches, get our organizations out and just pick up some of this stuff because it's just kind of collecting faster than we can do anything about it. So I'll be putting out more information about that coming up.
Wonderful. Great update. Commissioner Farnsworth, do you have anything? Commissioner Mazon?
Thank you to the staff. I love you guys very much. I got a joke. Why do dads bring an extra pair of socks with them? just in case they get a hole in one.
I'm gonna steal that one tomorrow in class, just for telling you. I don't have very many. I do want to give this commission an update on the Newberry Opioid Task Force. They went in front of the Children's Trusts yesterday, actually, successfully. So we, at this point, it started off right here in this chamber with you guys using $15,000 of the ARPA money to support the prevention arm of their strategy through ASO and RAD Kids. We now have every city that we have gone in front of, which is 5 that have elementary schools in the county, because we've been working the donut. Every single city has voted to put $10,000 into the awareness campaign. That gives a $50,000 amount to put towards that. The Children's Trust is going to act as the accounting firm of this program. So all of the cities will put their money into that pot. Each city that participates will create a subcommittee to decide how to go about that awareness campaign. We will expect a final vote from the Children's Trust in March. And once we have that, we're going to go to the BOCC, and I'm being told good things, to ask for the BOCC to match out of their ARPA funds the same amount that the cities are putting in. And so they're on to a winning strategy that I believe is going to do an incredible job over the next 12 to 18 months of getting into our schools, teaching our kids a holistic approach to recognizing dangerous situations and knowing how to say no, and raising everybody's awareness right here in our own backyard about this growing crisis. As you guys know, the shutdown and the pandemic have made the opioid crisis skyrocket. We have more fentanyl coming into our country right now, and more people dying of fentanyl than we've ever seen before. So this is something we have got to start having a better conversation about. Most people that I talk to about opioids still are asking me, what is opioid? What is fentanyl? Those kinds of things. So I wanted to give you guys that update. That task force, which you guys created, hasn't stopped, and they're out there really leading a county-wide charge. And of course, I think I've already mentioned, but just repeats, State of the City, March 3rd. Taste of Newberry starts at 6:30 right here at the municipal building. Mike, will the municipal building be all beautified for us at that time?
Absolutely, Mayor. It's a work in progress, but we're getting a lot done prior to March the 3rd, and then we'll clean it all up, and we'll enjoy it, and then after the 8th, we'll plan the next phase of work.
Wonderful. Well, I've gotten a sneak peek at the portrait of Mayor Norfleet. It looks amazing. Of course, we'll be unveiling it that night. Or be on March 8th. March 8th is the Mentally Norfleet night. Both of the State of the City speech and the Mentally Norfleet night start at 7. The Taste of Newberry starts on March 3rd at 6:30. So we invite everybody to come out, hear about all the great things that the city, not just your commissioners, but our staff have worked on all year long to make our community so strong. And that does it for my comments. Citizen comments.
Good evening. My name is Lou Castor. I have been a Newberry resident approximately 4 years. I'm here this evening to try to get some information about the traffic flow in Newberry, specifically the school areas and the zoning for that part. Because of, and more specifically, over by the elementary school, Newberry Elementary. Because of the flow that doesn't happen, and with the parents or whoever's doing the pickup, I should say, is starting an hour before school ever lets out. And by the time it backs up on both sides of the road, the flow is not going like it should back and forth. And I know that ASO is writing tickets if you try to maneuver throughout the area. So I am doing some research on that as well. So sometimes it takes getting an awareness of it to get you involved. And so I guess that's the point I'm at, to find out who I need to talk to, what committee I need to talk with or get on, try to help the situation as opposed to coming totally to complain about the situation. And that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, I think probably the best thing to do is ask you to talk with our city manager at some point in time so that you guys can get a feel of what's going on and what all the plans are for the future, because we're very aware of that road. We have an idea to help fix it. Of course, ASO is always expected to enforce all of our road traffic laws all of the time. So I think that would probably be the best way. So if you guys can just exchange information and set up a meeting sometime over the next week or so, that would be great. We appreciate you coming and being part of the solution.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner Farnsworth.
So does the school board have anything to say as far as the traffic flow in and out of the elementary school, or?
I think their statement would be stop building houses.
Yeah, probably.
We have offered, Mike has offered 2 or 3 ideas about ways that traffic flow could be a little bit better. So far, we haven't had any actionable items. You know, I think our long-term plan of pushing through, widening the road, creating a long-term lane, parking, that's ultimately going to address the situation. But from the school board's perspective, when they're on the street, that's us. When they're on campus, that's them.
Okay. And I was just kind of curious, when people exit out of 15th onto 45, are they aware there are like 2 other exits that they can use?
One of the things that I've talked to the principal over there is right now there's a sign that says during the high traffic times, they don't want you to turn left. And I would like to take that sign down, because there are different ways that you can get out. I think that most people who are locals at this point kind of know the times where that will happen, and they try to get out a different direction. One of the other things that's going to help is Larry Keene Drive, because that means that I will be able to get to Newberry Road on the west side of the railroad track. So you guys are working on 2 fairly expensive solutions to this problem, but also really long-term impactful solutions to this problem. We just need a couple of years to do it. Yeah.
Okay.
I would also say, while we're on the topic, FDOT, I think, is scheduled as soon as they're done to put in a turn lane from 27 into 15th. That's not going to address the residents' concern precisely, but FDOT is aware of the problem. We've got the crosswalk moved. We've worked with ASO to find a solution to help get people out of there. So I think, we're actively aware and trying to work with all of our partners to help this situation. I think we've got the morning. I've gotten, I don't know how many messages from people in Country Way. Just, it's changed their life to have that person letting folks out, and that's not just Country Way, that's everybody that drops their kids off, so it's citywide. So we've got the morning piece figured out. We have this issue at the end. I think what's happened is, and as I told the resident when we spoke on the phone, our position is that ASO is always enforcing the laws. I think when you have one officer in a community, what they listen to us, they listen to principals, and when we see one thing starting to spike, we ask for higher levels of enforcement. So I think what's happened is the principals have seen a lot of parents be impatient and moving out and doing all kinds of things, right? And so they're asking for ASO to help keep kind of an orderly line. So.
Well, if I have way now, I can be impatient too. Especially if not
Yeah.
dropping kids off.
Yeah. All right. Any other public comments? Yes. Mr.
I just,
just an update on that turn lane too after you make your comment.
Just a thought. The commission, when they authorized our workload for this year, we're working on 15th, design-wise, from 260th West. But we just started, because it doesn't involve, big budget, we're working on concepts for 15th. We've got some pretty good ideas. We had a meeting internally, we talked with the designer, and we have some, what we think are some really good ideas that are going to help out quite a bit, and we're working on some concepts that we will present. The timeline for the concepts is be here in time for budget, because we think the commission is probably interested in moving that project forward next season, at least considering it heavily, and we want to have some concepts for the commission to see what we think would help out. So we're actively working on that this week. We've had a few meetings, and I think that by budget time, we'll have some thoughts for you guys to consider.
But all three of those infrastructure projects are moving forward ostensibly as close to the same timeline. 15th, Larry King, City Hall. So are we going to have concepts for 15th and Larry King?
Mr. Mayor, we have concepts for Seaboard Coastline Drive. We've passed that stage. We're in design. And you will see design renderings. There'll be a couple design alternatives, some decision making, but we think that as quick as we can get designs completed, we'll be seeking authorization to go to construction. Somewhere in the middle of all that, we're working on impact fees as a potential revenue source. Same thing for 260th. 15th west of 260th. We're in design. There'll be some concepts, but we're going to end up with a set of construction drawings on these eastern segments of 15th. We're going to have a couple renderings and ask the commission to consider when they want to move into design. So similar concept, but they're lagging, and we don't have any direction at this point to move forward with design, but expect that in the next year or two, the commission would prioritize that.
Mike, and I don't want to forget the turn lane, but what is going on with interest rates for governments right now? 'Cause a lot of our projections are based on really cheap loans. Is that staying? Dallas left.
Interest rates are expected to increase. It's funny that you mentioned that. I saw an email yesterday from our financial advisor that said if we borrow money pretty quickly, we're probably still sub 3. But there's an expectation that the Fed is going to increase interest rates, and that gets passed on to us. So, like I said, that came in yesterday from Dallas. If I think about it, I'll just go ahead and forward it to the commission, FYI, so you can kind of see the same thing that we're seeing.
Let's ponder on a plan for that.
Absolutely.
Turn lane on FDOT? When is that? I thought that was supposed to happen.
I believe it is let for bidding, Jamie? It's let for bidding. DOT is soliciting bids now. I don't know when the bids are due and when they'll award.
I don't know, but I'll follow up tomorrow.
Okay. We'll follow up, and we'll just send an email to the commission advising when the bids are due and when the estimated start date for construction is. I think up to now they'd been telling us in the fall, correct, for construction, and the last reports I heard was then, because they had proposed to move the crosswalk with that, and the commission felt like that's not acceptable, and they accelerated that crosswalk at our commission's request.
All right. Anybody have any questions after any of that exchange? Okay. One last.
You want to know what liable, right? It is, that's what it's based on.
What?
The interest rate.
Oh, the interest rate. Okay.
London exchange.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That's good information. Any last public comments? Hearing none, we are adjourned.